So yeah, this is the Dell Boomi instance. When we log into the Dell Boomi, this is what we see. So currently, like, we can see few things. The first thing is like it's a process. So what is process in Dell Boomi? If we want to create any integration, so we do it by creating a process, and inside process we use multiple shapes. What are shapes? I'll let you know. So inside a process we use multiple shapes, and in that way we can do the integrations using the endpoint. Now let's take an example. Okay, so let's take this example, daily customer. Okay, not this one. This one, in fact. Yeah. So here we can see that we are having a database as an endpoint and Salesforce as an endpoint, and we have some mail connector and some additional tasks that we are doing. So I'll explain you what this process is doing just for your overview, how Dell Boomi works, and then we'll design a integration, and we'll run it by our own, and we'll see how the thing goes. So this is the database connector. So we are basically, if you in Dell Boomi, we have two things that will be present in all the connectors. So before that, Dell Boomi is comprised have two important things, out of which the integrations are made. The first thing is shapes. So these are the shapes that Dell Boomi have. These are one set of shapes. This is the second set of shapes. So these are the total number of shapes that Dell Boomi has. And after that, here we can see connector. So these are the connectors. So these are the Dell Boomi connectors. Also, we have trading partner. Now, uh, since we want to connect in our integration, the use case is to connect from database, get some data, and send it to the Salesforce after doing some modification or some modification to the data. So that's what we have taken a database connector over here. We have set the so in every connector we will have two things in common. The first thing is connection, and the second thing is operation. Now, what is connection? Connection, it's like here we can see Boomi training MySQL connection. So this is a connection name. So connection basically defines the connection regarding details. I mean, what do you need to connect to that? If it's a database, to connect to that database. If it's a Salesforce, then connect to that Salesforce. So basically, it will comprise of few common things like username, password, host name, port name. So these things will be common in all the connectors. So if it's a like, of course, I mean, our details will be different. Like here, it's a username is to Boomi trainer for our database, but it may be different for our Salesforce. But the things that is required fields, that are few fields are always common, like username, password, hostname, port name. Others are different, like database URL, driver type, class name. So now we have to give these values, assign these values, database URL. So what is database URL? Database URL, it gets populated once you start typing your this username. See, if you can see, it is a combination of username, then host name as well. If you can see, it's a combination of host name, port name as well. Here it is, and so on. So it's a combination of all the details. So it will create a database URL in our Boomi. Now, once this connection is configured, we have to configure operation. So what does operation do in Dell Boomi connector? Operation tells us what we want to achieve using that Dell Boomi connector. Now if you'll open that, so we can see over here what we are doing. We are doing a get query of get operation on a profile that we can see from here. This is the database profile. Here it is, you can see. So it will tell you the fields that we are having and the fields that we want to get from our Salesforce, from our database. So this is a get operation that we're doing on this profile. And link element is customer ID, batch count if you want to set some batch count and max row. So all other details. So we cannot go into details today because we don't have time. So just for an overview, this is the operation. Now we can set the parameter as well. So parameter, what it will do, it will take this parameter value at the runtime and then execute the process. So here what parameter we are setting? We are setting a parameter of modified date and giving the date mask, the format of date and its relative date. What is the relative date? So we are basically setting what should be the modified date that we are getting from database. So it should be this one, -1 day. So this is what we are setting over here. And once this operation parameter connection operation and parameter is set, we are good for Dell Boomi database connector over here. So this configuration is done. Now we come to the branch shape. So what the branch shape does? Branch shape, let's say I'll show you from here. I have disconnected in Boomi. What we do, once we connect this from to the other shape, it will turn into green. So that means it is connected. Once we remove it, it will turn into red. That means it is no more connected to this shape. So further shapes will not be executed. So let's run this. Yeah. So once we run this process, we can see once we click on this, since we have disconnected it from other shapes, so only this process ran. So once we click here on this connector, we'll see that we received two documents here. So one is this one. This is the document. Once we click here, we can see the logs, if any, because since we are doing only get operation, so there won't be any detail log. If we want to see detail log, we can see from here as well. This is just for our if you want to see quick logs, so we can see it from here. But if we want to see detailed log, we can click here and see view log. There are other ways to see that also. I'll let you know. Okay, let me tell you in fact. So if you want to see this log in process reporting, then also. So what does process reporting does? Once we deploy our process, then we can see our logs over here as well in our Dell Boomi instance. So after deployment, if you want to see some details of our process and something related to that, you can see from there. See, these are the processes that I deployed and in our account. And once we click here, these are the processes. See, all of them are process. And now, if you want to see the log, you can see a shortcut over here. Click here and you can save. And we have four options over here: information, warning, severe, and debug. So in information, you will see all the logs, all the detail logs. But if you want to just see the warning or error, you can do that from here. and debug also, like it will tell you how the values assigned, if we are assigning some value in map shape or something, if we are getting, then also using some get operation, then also it will show up. So that's a different process, so I just wanted to show you here. Huh. Now we can see we have received two documents here. The first one is here. We can click on this connection data and just click on this shape, so we can see the data over here. So Dell Boomi, database connector will always, if it is getting or sending a database, so it will start with DB start. So we can see that it's a database profile with these values populated. Now we have another file as well. We can look into that as well. See, that's a different file with a G point value and some other value, contact details and some other things as well. Now, once it is done, we can connect it back. So we are basically getting what I wanted to show you. What the operation that it was doing, it was trying to get the file from our database. So since in operation we can see we have defined the profile type and link element. So in database we have two records that we were fetching. So the, uh, with the get operation, we got two records. Now after this get record, after that record is fetched from database, we have a branch shape. So what the branch shape does, it will take our document and send our document to the multiple branches. Here we have three branches. First branch, what it will do, it will set some property. So we are setting some test property as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then here we can see we are mapping. So since we have to move that data to Salesforce, and Salesforce accept XML profiles. So we need to convert it from database to XML format. So this is what we are doing here. We are converting database to XML format with some modification. Now that modifications in map, this is the Dell Boomi map. This is called Dell Boomi map. And the purpose of Dell Boomi map is to convert one form of profile into another format along with some modifications that are required. So how and what modifications can be done here? So the modifications are done with the help of functions over here. If we click on this plus option, we can see multiple options. Now if we want to write our own script, so we have two options of writing script. One is Groovy script and one is JavaScript. So if we'll click here, whatever if you are comfortable with Groovy or you are comfortable with Java, you can select either of them, and then you can start it. Write the custom script and you can map to the destination profile. So, and also we have some predefined functions in our Dell Boomi instance. Like for string, we have these number of functions. Like if you want to do some left character trim, string append, white trim, right character. So multiple functions are also available for Dell Boomi Dell Boomi map shape. Then for numeric, the same. We have different functions. Date, we have date format. If you want to set some date format in different format or get the current date, you can do that. Lookup, if you want to perform some lookup operations like SQL lookup, cross reference. So what is cross reference lookup? Cross reference, basically it's in Dell Boomi, it is used to store key value pairs. And if you want to like get some values from Dell Boomi like instantly, like if you want to trigger a process, and what our expectation is to, for some key we want to get some value for that key value pair, but it should be done uh, in no time. Like it should be done quickly. So in that case, we used to store those things in our cross reference table, that is called CRT, cross reference table. Now this lookup over here, what it does, if we want to fetch some value from cross reference table, so then we use cross reference lookup. Document cache lookup. So if we have stored something in our document cache, so we can pull it with the help of that. And then we have some simple lookup option as well. So likewise, we have other things as well, like connector. If we want to do some connector call, we can do that. So we can click on this and we can select whatever connector we have. I mean, whatever connector operation that we want to do, lookup we want to do, we can select it. Also, we have another thing, and you can see here in this map also, I have done a connector call only here. We have done a Salesforce connector call, get operation, and we are getting some data from Salesforce, and we are mapping to the ID. Now we can do the custom scripting as well that I told you. We can, with the help of Groovy and JavaScript, we can do the custom script. And properties. So in Dell Boomi, we have a few properties that are set in our process in order to fetch it in our later stages. Like if we want to fetch, like let's see from here. See, this is set property. So what we are doing, we are setting this dynamic document property with the name test over here, and its value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's dynamic document property, and we want to fetch it in our process, in this process. We can do that. We can, like in our map, if you want to fetch it, just come here and use this get document. It was document property. So get dynamic doc get document property here, and then we can, from here we can select dynamic document property and give the name that was test. Once we set this, we can get that particular value that was set in our map, that was set in our process. So clear, like do you have any question? Yeah, if there is any question, please ask. Okay, I'll be there to help. Okay, so these are the basic functionalities that Dell Boomi perform, like getting some data from source location, then using this. These are the shapes, as I told you. We have multiple shapes. These are the shapes, and using that shape, we'll be here. We are routing the data. Not routing, basically we are doing the branching of data in different branch. The data will go and perform some execution. So the basic property of branch is the data that it will be receiving here. In Dell Boomi, it is in the form of document, so we call it document. So the documents that it will receive here in branch shape, let's say it receives a document that has name equal to Ram. So that name equal to Ram will go here, execute this process. Whatever after this execution, it will go to this map, execute this map, then it will be inserted into Salesforce as per our integration and stop here. Then in here, name equal to Sham, same thing will go here. I mean, the modified value of name equal to Sham will not come here in branch. Once this is complete, the same document that went here, it will come here, and then execute the same thing, and then the same document that went here and here, it will come here as well, and it will execute. Like the modified document that comes here will not, it's not like that will be coming to the second branch. That's not the case. Like most of the people, like they get confused with this. So this is not how it works. So that same document will go to all the three branches. Yeah, any question? I have.
No, so all of these like branching will depend upon business logic.
Yes, absolutely. Like here, if we can see what is my logic over here, what we are doing now, I will tell you. Here, we are receiving some data from database. Then we are setting some property. With the help of that property, we are converting. We are setting some property, and after setting that property, we are converting that database profile to XML format in order to insert those values to the Salesforce.
Mm.
And we are stopping here, and then that document that we receive, it will come to second branch. We are setting some
Mm.
other property. You'll see here what we are doing. We are setting the mail subject. Why so? Because in second branch, if you'll see, we have a mail connector, and we are sending a mail, shooting a mail with the help of second branch. So what the mail that we will sending will have the subject line this one. This will be the subject line. It will depend on the database profile value that will be named. So it will basically have a subject line of whatever the element value that name will consist in this get operation. Then the same name will be a subject line for our for our mail. Then we can see something called as message sheet.
Mm.
This message sheet is used here to design the message that we. So here we can see we have a HTML format message. So we will be sending a mail that will contain an HTML document, or in the HTML format, in fact. And what are the things that we'll be sending? This will be the main subject. This will be the main intent of our mail. So it will contain prospect. Then one is one here. It is the dynamic value that we are picking from here. So it will be a customer ID. So prospect customer ID closed on two. Two means it will tell the current date. Is it
Okay.
clear, Shivam?
Yes, yes, actually.
Okay.
Uh,
So this is what it
right.
is doing. Now coming to the third branch, it will execute a program command. So what does program command does in Dell Boomi? It helps us to execute some SQL statement or some batch file. So here what we are doing, we are executing a SQL statement only. So once this second branch is executed, one more thing, like this branch shape, it will execute in one by one format. First branch will execute, then only the second. Once it will, first branch will come to completion, then second branch will be executed. Once second is coming to execution, it will come to the stop shape, then only the third branch will start executing. So in third branch, we are doing some SQL logic. We have implemented some SQL logic over here. So we are updating the customer in customer database, in customer table. In fact, we are setting the notify status value as 0. So if it was something as 1 or something, we are setting that value as 0, where customer ID equal to that we will receive from here. Customer ID we are receiving from here. From this database profile, customer ID will be this, and user ID, this is our Dell Boomi user ID. So that's a different thing. So you will have some different user ID once you create a Dell Boomi account. I have this. So this is the purpose of using this SQL statement over here is to uh, change the notify status from 0 to 1. So if we'll talk about course content, so okay, so it's the first thing that we'll be going through will be execute shapes, logic shapes, and connectors. So what are execute shape, logic shape, and connector we have? these are the these are the shapes that we call execute shape. These are the shapes that we call uh, logic shape, and this is connector. These are the connectors. So we will have detailed discussion, and along with that practical use cases on them, and then we will, once these three is done, we'll see on. So in Dell Boomi we have 5 type of profiles. So we'll see all of them with along with use case like XML, database, JSON, flat file. The fifth one is not mentioned, that is EDI profile. So we'll see an example for that as well, because EDI profile, you might be aware that it is only applicable for B2B integration. So we'll see all those profiles. So we'll see all those profiles. Then profile combinations. How do we do that combination of Dell Boomi, and then retrieving profile from cache? We'll do that in our use cases. And cross-reference table, that I told you recently, that what is CRT, cross-reference table. How do we get the value from our cross-reference? We'll see that as well. It's a then next coming to user defined function. So I told you how do we create a script in Dell Boomi. A little bit, I gave you a little bit idea about that once we detailed discussion. So
Okay.
there are other ways of doing that user defined function as well. So we can create our custom map function as well. So that can also be done, and we'll see that the lookups, as I recently showed you in our use case. So we'll discuss about all the lookups in detail. Then coming to that, then standard function. The standard functions are those that I showed, like string, math function. Then we have other as well. So in those string and map functions also we have multiple functions under them. So all of them will be covering them under this topic. Then setting and getting property. I showed you that set property, get property as well. So we'll see the batch document, and then we'll come to flow control as well. So if you want to control our document flow in our Dell Boomi, that also is possible, and we'll see here. Along with that, set property mechanism we'll see, and then try catch as well. So try catch, basically it's used to like catch catch the exceptions in Dell Boomi and create some custom message that if we want to create some of them. So we'll see how do we catch exceptions in Dell Boomi and how do we handle exceptions in Dell Boomi. And if you want to trigger some mail or we want to trigger some message, custom message through our, you know, through in our Dell Boomi instance. So we will see that custom alerts as well. We do it with the help of notify shape. Then read data in the test mode, like if you want to read some data after executing in test mode. So in Dell Boomi we have two types of mode. One is test mode, the other one is like one the test mode was the one that I showed you by running from here. Yeah, if we run our integration from here after designing integration, if you test it from here, then it's called a test mode. But if we run it, if we deploy it, then after deployment we can execute our process from here. So that's basically called runtime execution. That's not a test mode. So there are two type of execution. So we'll see both of them in detail as well. Then exception shape, how do we terminate the data flow and define the custom error message, we'll see that. Then in process building, we'll see all these activities again. So end-to-end design of interface, we'll see how do we like in this particular thing, in this particular topic, we'll cover like how do we build our integration from scratch, and then how can we how do we test it in a test mode or in a runtime execution. How do we deploy it, and then after deploying, running it in a runtime execution, and then after that how do we how do we track the documents in our Dell Boomi, how it is flowing, what are the values it is flowing, and if we get some error, how do we debug it? So everything will be covered in this here. Testing of interface, deployment of interface, execution of interface, analysis of process reporting. So everything we will be looking into. So after each and I will be helping to like set up and license. I mean set up the Dell Boomi instance. I'll help you out how to set up a Dell Boomi instance and how do we start working on it. So I'll help you out with that as well and provide you the use case as well after each class, and then I'll be helping you technically as well if you are stuck somewhere unable to move ahead. So in that case also I'll be there to help you out. Also there are other things that are not covered. The first thing that we do in our Dell Boomi is we deploy all our integration into a runtime instance called as Atom. So we'll see how to install Atom in our local system as well as in the cloud. How do we set the environment? So like we have different environments in Dell Boomi. So let me open my instance and show you. So this is my okay. That's a different account. That's a different Dell Boomi account. Not this one. This one. Yeah. So if you want to see how many items we have, so we go to this item management and we can see. So basically, I have installed two right now. Yeah, item this it one I have dev, another I have test. We probably don't have any item right now. Dev, test, and these two are environment. This is dev environment. This is test environment. And to each environment, we have attached an item. One is cloud item, one is test item cloud. They both are different items. So we'll see how to install them as well. Once you create a Dell Boomi instance, once you create a Dell Boomi account, they do not come by default. We have to install it in our local system, in our cloud as well as there are two type of items that we have. So here we can see both the items are cloud. So this symbol says that it's a cloud item. Also, we have an option to install our item into a local system. So I'll guide you to do that as well. So what's the now the question that will come in your mind? What's the difference between cloud item and local item? So if let's say we have a Dell Boomi integration where we have two endpoints, and if let's say both the endpoints are on cloud, let's say we are using Salesforce as one instance, second instance as let's say SAP, let's take as SAP, or let's say NetSuite or something like that. So in that, if both the endpoints are on the cloud, then we use Cloud Atom to deploy our process and execute our process. But if any of the endpoints, either source or target, is on our local system, I mean on-premise system, not local, on-premise system. That is, I mean, that is not on the cloud, in the cloud. That is on-premise. So if either of the endpoint is on-premise, in that case, we'll be using our local item. So we'll see how to install the local item as well. Step-by-step process. We'll look into that and we'll take care of that thing as well. So I'll help you with that also, and to create a demo account, to create to give a use case as well, to handle the licensing as well. So like in Dell Boomi, the our every integration is dependent on the licensing. So if you see, this is the training account. So we can come here in setup page to see the details. So we in here we get training account, you can see the licensing option here. So here we get three licenses. Yeah, you can see it. we get a standard account and with the 3 licenses. So currently I haven't deployed anything. So I haven't used any licenses over here because once I deploy our code after doing the use case, I undeploy it because it's a training account. So there's no point in keeping that deployed. So I'll tell you how to handle those licenses as well and how to reuse the licenses as well. So you can see I have so many integrations over here in my account here. I have so many integrations, but still with the help of 3 licenses only, I am able to do that. So that's not a big deal. So, but yes, we'll see that as well, how to handle the licenses. Then uh, creating account and then creating installing our item, dealing with the licenses, and then getting started with the Dell Boomi code from scratch. So I mean, if we go ahead in our classes, then I'll definitely start from what is Dell Boomi. So once we start from what is Dell Boomi, and we'll cover all the topics along with the we'll cover, and there are a few other topics as well, like I haven't mentioned. So and yeah, then we'll move ahead and we'll see how the thing goes. And one more thing that I wanted to tell you. So I'll help you to what are the type of questions, how it is this, how the questions comes, the formats of questions. I'll help you out with that. And also with at the end of our class, you will be in shape to appear for the Dell Boomi certified.
How many lectures you are planning to take?
Okay.
Like how many
So
hours?
basically, I take 25 to 30 hours to complete it,
Okay.
and we'll be taking it in weekdays as well as weekends as well, up to your
Okay.
comfort. I mean, both of our comfort if we are okay with
Mm.
the. So, like I have some other classes as well that I deal with, so I'll take my availability and we'll try to catch up every day. And let's finish it up. If you are fine with like moving ahead, then only we'll move ahead. We will not go in rush. I don't
Okay.
prefer because I would like see you like doing all the use cases along with me. Once I finish it, I want you also to do that. Then only we'll
Okay.
after the question answer session. So it will not be a rush, but yeah, definitely we'll try to finish it within a month or so.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
If every day we'll connect for 1 hour also, then that will be done.
Okay. Okay.
So for that, it's I mean, a different thing. So we'll look that thing, and I will be available for that.